Hi, my name's Allixe Galloway. I have Asperger's syndrome or high-functioning ASD, depending on what terminology you want to use. And today I'm going to talk about how does mental health impact your career and how does mental health impact your personal life. So for me, how mental health has impacted my career is I have a real deficit in executive functioning. I have trouble organizing, coordinating, and completing a constant inbox of incoming tasks and projects. So at university, for example, especially in third and fourth year, I really struggled with a large workload of constantly incoming new material. So I've developed different strategies for executive functioning. The first is anticipation. I have to anticipate my daily and weekly routine and all the tasks that are fitted in with that. And sometimes you can make a list, or over time you'll just develop a mental routine of what you have to do in your head to get to work or to get home and prepare yourself to go to bed. So my daily routine, it's what I have to do to get up in the morning, where I have to be, what time I have to get to work, and then kind of the same thing when I come home. And then my weekly routine is what unpaid work do I have to do on my days off. So, laundry, cooking, cleaning, food prep, etc. And so once you have a routine of what you have to do in your head, you can kind of shift things around if unexpected tasks come up, or then you're able to slot in different projects that you actually want to focus on and think about, well, what do I want to do in my free time after my routine's done? And then if I have a project that I'm working on, say I'm taking a French class, so I've got a lot of stuff I want to do with that, I'll allocate time to planning different projects and organize a big project into different files so my head doesn't feel scrambled inside. I actually have peace of mind. And then I can just take out a file and work on that, and I can even make a little sub-list of categories for one file, and then I can just cross stuff off in that sub-list, so then that file's done on that aspect of that project. And then also accountability. I've found if you absolutely have to do something, any inhibitions around executive functioning immediately go away. So if you have to do your taxes and you've been very nervous about them, your brain will just slot in and you'll do your taxes. Then also there's a lot of anxiety, this comorbidity, this duality that really stems from having an Asperger's syndrome diagnosis. And I find once I know how to organize myself, that anxiety really melts away, because it's like, well, wait a minute, I know what to do. Why should I be anxious? That goes away. Another thing where Asperger's has impacted my personal life was sociability. I had this feedback when I was younger due to constant bullying that I couldn't make friends, and I had no idea why, but I just couldn't make friends. Okay, that was that. And then I got a diagnosis, and suddenly that made sense, why I couldn't make friends or why I couldn't socialize. So how I think about it is you almost have to learn the language of sociability. It's like learning a second language. So it's like learning to speak French. Socializing for me is like getting up and speaking French every day, and you get quite good at it. And then again, that anxiety that came from socializing just melts away, because it's like, oh, you know what to do. So I've developed different strategies for socializing. I've got about 5 of them. The first is very classic. It's making eye contact. People had to tell me to make eye contact. But once I did, that was the first big step. And when you make eye contact, you just want to glance at someone's eyes every few seconds. You don't want to stare at them. And if you're uncomfortable making eye contact, you just look at their face. You don't have to, then you're not looking at their eyes, but the other person can't tell that you're just looking at their face, you're not looking at their eyes. You want to keep your face level. If you've got your face down, but your eyes up, you'll look like a villain in a horror movie. You will look quite creepy. So just keep your head level, and smile. People respond to a smile. And then general body language, what I've found is when someone's leaning into you and nodding and they're positioned toward the direction of their body is positioned towards you, they're interested in you. If they're slowly changing direction, especially the direction of their feet, if their feet are pointed away or their body direction's pointed away, it's signaling disinterest, or they're busy with something. Again, small talk, the phrase, "How are you?" People with Asperger's syndrome will take that literally as they'll give you an account of their day. So they think they're literally asking, "How are you?" But it more reads as an acknowledgement for people to get comfortable with each other. They get more relaxed. So you just give a short, quick answer when you say, "How are you?" You can say, "I'm okay, I'm not too bad." And then I find different topics that you can get people to relate each other. This is where small talk comes in. You're really looking to relate to each other because you don't know each other. You don't know what to talk about. So the weather, commuting, traffic, those are all great topics, and that can really kind of just get a conversation going and chat people up. In terms of how's treatment impact, how has a diagnosis helped you and how's treatment helped you? Well, it's been very enlightening because you would receive this feedback when you're a kid and you have no idea what's going on. And you can say, "Oh, it's your perception of yourself." You can come up with all these different explanations, but that doesn't negate the factual feedback that you're getting. So Asperger's syndrome wasn't really known about from about 1950 until the 80s, until Hans Asperger's papers were actually translated from German into English. So I'm really the first generation to grow up with a diagnosis in North America. I was diagnosed by a psychiatrist in grade 9, and that was very helpful. And then I got plugged in to see another psychologist about 10 years ago, and it's really helpful to have someone who's trained to deal with Asperger's syndrome because they know exactly what you're going through. They really know that extra specific twist or tweak that everything's gonna need to suit you. So yeah, that's pretty much, that's what I have to say, and that's kind of how I've dealt with Asperger's syndrome over the years. Thank you.